You know, actually, there is one more generation, and that's these, where the pull more is up front. And I think they're designed to have the powered A be in back. I think that's how they're best. They perform the best. But I've had no good luck with these at all, making them run good. I don't know what it is. They just don't seem to have any power and minimal traction. They look like they're rugged enough, right? But so this is yet another iteration of Lionel Alco. Let me see if I can put together this one where it actually does something. You know, it didn't like that. It just came to a stop. I don't know if something popped off the track. Yeah, see, it drives itself off the track. This is one of the reasons why I don't run it. And, so yeah, this is yet a fourth iteration of these things. And as you can tell, I'm not a fan of these. So let me see if I can put together a consist of Santa Fe's that actually work. Well, they run pretty good. They got to warm up a little bit, which means they got to loosen up the grease that I put in them. That's what that really means. And I wonder what kind of pull more they have. Oh, look at that. They got the good ones. That one's pretty clean. Probably should put a little oil on it. Now, one of the ways you can tell that this one is really not a high hour locomotive, this 218, number one, it doesn't have a broken chin. And number two, there's no wear on those rollers. And this one runs good. I just like the way it runs. Let me see about this one here. It's another 218. And look at that. They run good. So the Santa Fe's are my favorite paint scheme, with one exception. These are my absolute favorites, because this is what my dad gave me when I was a kid. First locomotive was one of these, 232. Now it doesn't have a front hook, so you can't do the consist like we just did there. But look at that. It's got the right pull more. And of course, these guys right here, I enjoy the heck out of them. The Boston and Maine color scheme has grown on me, because that was the first time I did one of these. And I did it on what I thought was an expendable paint job, you know. And now that I've learned a little more about the local railroads, I recognize that Boston and Maine has got some history along with these. Of course, I did a video about this once before. Delaware and Hudson never had an FA, they had PAs. But it's still pretty, right? But anyway. So here's your typical powered A unit with a chassis, the Pullmore, the E unit, and notice that they got those brass bushings on the axles as well. One of the ways you can tell that a motor's got some time on it is begin to see the wear on those rollers. Take a look at that. Now these aren't bad, but it's been run, you know. And if it's been oiled properly, it really doesn't matter, because those bushings don't wear very fast, you know. Kept oiled, they last a very, very, very long time. So let's take a look at this baby blue right here, Missouri Pacific. And it also has 2-axle magnet traction. And that's a dummy. Well, I'm a dummy too, but this is a dummy, so it's effectively another car. So what I want to see if I can do with this is pull all those cars, which adds up to 12 total when you include the dummy, with just the one locomotive and the one Pullmore. I would say that was the limit of what that locomotive could do. And once it got up to speed, it had actually no trouble holding speed. But I had to work with it to get it started. If I started on the flat or the downhill, it had no problem, but it had a hard time starting going uphill, which is why I like those ones I have where I have powered A and Bs, or 2 powered A's. They got no problem. They pull these cars like nothing. I've actually pulled as many as 20 cars around this track with those. So anyway, let's just see what happens and see how many cars I got to take off in order to get this to go around the same track, which would be the same as like an Alco, the Marine Alco, or one of those that has just one magnet traction axle. Alright, I'm going to have to use this one to represent Alcos with one magnet traction axle instead of 2, because I tried using my other switcher and the coupler wouldn't hold. So we're going to this one. Now remember, it's got die-cast, pretty heavy die-cast trucks, so it may pull a little bit harder because of the weight. But it'll be close. It'll be representative. And that blue one has got no weight in the back, and yet it still was able to pull those cars around the track. Let's see what this one does. Alright, to make it equal, I'm putting the dummy in front. The pull more is right here on that set of axles. It's got one magnet traction axle, but this is actually a little heavier because of the die cast. So it may not be apples to apples, but it'll be close. Alright, that ain't happening. So let me just start taking off cars until we get to the number it can handle. I'll take off a couple of these. See what happens. Nope, don't like that. Let's take off a couple more. One more should do it. Right? Yeah. I'm going to take this one off and put one coal car back on. So that ought to make a little difference. That dummy was pretty heavy, so it should have no problem handling these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars. Well, that thing did pretty good for what it is, didn't it? But that gives you the idea. Even though the Alco is lighter, it still pulled more cars because of that extra axle of magnet traction. But you know what the net on this is? Is these old Lionels are rugged. at least from this generation. And they're a lot of fun. You can do all kinds of things, from operation type things, trying to get long trains, or just sitting and watch them run in circles. And they don't break the bank. They run good. They make a racket. They stink like oil because I dump all kinds of oil in them. But I have fun with these things. So that's my Alcos. And a little bit of data on those. And I really do like them. I mean, those are the ones I have the most fun with. But going to spend a little time running these steamers.